I am Luigi Pascal Rondanini, and this is the Post-Project World. Over the past months, something interesting has happened. People have begun writing to me. Founders, engineers, operators, builders, executives, researchers. Not because they want another podcast interview, not because they are promoting something, but because they recognize the questions we have been exploring here. Questions about governance, about trust, about coordination, about what organizations become when execution itself becomes increasingly machine-mediated. And what strikes me about these messages is not that they arrive, it is what they contain. They contain observations, hard-won, specific, sometimes uncomfortable observations from people who are building things in the real world and running into the same problems we keep circling here. A founder who removed project management from their operating model entirely and discovered that the hard part was not execution. The hard part was trust. An engineer who spent 3 years automating workflows only to realize that the workflows were never the bottleneck. The bottleneck was approval. A risk officer who told me that every time someone says AI strategy in a board meeting, what the board actually hears is new risk we do not yet know how to measure. These are not abstract positions. These are field reports, and they deserve to be heard. Stay with me. Until now, the Post-Project World has been an essay podcast. It will remain an essay podcast. That is not changing. But I have decided to experiment with something new. Something I have been thinking about for some time. Not interviews, contributions, not guests, participants, not talk shows, Symposia. I am calling it PPW Dispatches. They will appear as bonus episodes within the Post-Project World podcast series. You will find them in the same feed, alongside the main essays. Let me explain how it works. I introduce a question, not a topic, not a theme, a specific question. Someone who has spent years wrestling with that question in the real world records their thoughts, in their own voice, in their own time, from wherever they are. 10 to 20 minutes. One question, one perspective. No Zoom, no scheduling, no small talk. No, tell me about your journey. No, where can people find you? Just the question, just the thinking, just the voice. Then I return. I connect their ideas back to the broader themes we have been exploring across this series. Governance, coordination, constraints, trust, capital, infrastructure, and I offer my own synthesis. The result is not a debate, not a panel, not two people performing agreement for an audience. Think of it instead as a symposium, a collection of voices from people who are building things under real constraints, spending real capital, making real decisions, living with real consequences. I want to be clear about why this format matters. There is something that happens when a person records alone. No interviewer across the table, no camera, no audience reactions. No pressure to be entertaining. Just a microphone and a question. That is a very different kind of speech. More considered, more honest, more like writing. Most podcast conversations are performances. Two people trying to be interesting for 60 minutes. That is a skill, but it is not the same thing as thinking. What I am interested in is thinking. The kind of thinking that happens when someone sits alone and tries to say clearly what they actually believe. Not what sounds good, not what is polished, but what is true. That is what I want these dispatches to contain. So what will you hear? The main episodes of the post-project world will not change. They remain essays. My voice, my arguments, my synthesis of the ideas and evidence I am working with. But occasionally, between those essays, a dispatch will appear in the feed. A founder describing what actually happened when they tried to govern an organization without projects. An engineer explaining what coordination looks like inside a system that was never designed to be coordinated. A CFO describing what the audit committee really wants to know when someone proposes spending 7 figures on an AI program. A researcher presenting evidence that challenges something I have argued in a previous episode. I welcome that, because the point of this series has never been to be right about everything. The point is to be precise about the questions that matter. And precision improves when more voices contribute, when more experience enters the room, when someone who has actually done the thing we are theorizing about stands up and says, "Here is what I found." I used a word earlier that I want to return to: symposium. The original Greek symposium was not a conference. It was not a networking event. It was a structured gathering where participants contributed prepared remarks on a shared question. That is the model here. Not a talk show, not a panel, not an interview series. A symposium, where the question comes first, where the ideas come first, where the contribution is the point. Less Joe Rogan, more Royal Society. If you would like to contribute to a future dispatch, write to me. The address is luigi@orbaus.com. That is luigi@orbaos.com. Include 4 things: who you are, what you have built, what question you think deserves discussion, and why it matters. I will not respond to pitches. I will not respond to press releases. I will not respond to "let's find a time to chat." I will respond to ideas. Because the post-project world is not something one person discovers alone. It is something we discover together. I am not looking for guests. I am looking for participants.